Hey guys, my name is Rohit Singh. Welcome to the channel Developer Geeks Hub. Well, in this video, we will talk about string libraries. Well, currently this is the C++ playlist and we have done some pretty work in our previous videos. You can check that out in the I button popping in your screen. Well, string library is one of the important libraries because it will help you to manipulate your string data. If I give you an example, suppose you have a user have just logged in, or he or she has just signed up in a user account, right? And you have to check that the ending of that email should be proper, like it should contain @ or it should end with .com. So how you can compare that? So there are many functions actually within the library that we can make in use to create such applications. Now let's see in C++ compiler how will it work. Well guys, now let's see what are the different useful functions within the string.h library. First we will include the string.h. Now what is this include means? If you want to know more, you can check out our playlist, because I have briefly informed about the layout and how the program works in the backend and the foreground, right? From where the code jumps and from where the compilation starts, and every single thing about this return 0, why we use namespace. You can check that out in the playlist. Well, we will create a character array, character A, which would be like Rohit, right? And then after there are basically two ways. If you print this, you can see the output. You can see it is printing Rohit. Another way is that using string. In the latest version of C++, they have even added string library. Let's check that out, that if it's working or not. Yes, it is working. You can see Rohit and then an endl, that is end line. Now let's try different functions which is offered within the math library. The first one is a strlen. Strlen is nothing but to find the length of the string, right? Now let's print strlen and enter, and then after we will write the variable name. We know that Rohit has 5 alphabets, right? Now let's see, is it printing it right or not? Yes, it is giving the value 5. So it means strlen gives the value of the character sequence, right? Now you can see that strlen is not working for this, for this function, for this data type, because we use different function to write the length. When we use a string data type, we often use length here to get the length of a particular string. If I write length is, so now let's try. Now you can see the length is 5, right? Now the other one is that we will create another character B, and we will write sing. Super. We can remove this. Okay, now what I have to do is that I have to create a character C which concatenates Rohit and Singh, that it should be Rohit Singh, right? So we will use the concatenation, that is strcat, string concatenation, and we will write A and B within. Therefore the C will have the a value which is concatenated by A and B. Now let's try this and let's see if it works or not. Save this. We often write like this. Okay, we will write string a. Basically this function does not returns a value. What happens is that it will concat in a, it will add the value of b, right? So we have to print the value of a now. Okay, we will write something here. Value is, now let's check. Yes, you can see the value is Rohit Singh here. So this is how the concat works, people. Now let's try another function of copying, how you can copy a string from one to another. So what we will do is that we can remove this and we can create another. What we will do is that we will copy a to b. So what we can do is that we can use the function called strcpy, and you can see here it is written destination and source, right? Source is nothing but Rohit and the destination is nothing but b. So we will write b here and then a here, right? And then we will print b. Now let's try and check that is this working or not. Yes, you can see it is printing Rohit exactly, right? Then comes the comparison to check that are the two strings equal or not. Now let's try cout strcmp, strcmp. Yes, you can see here s1 s2, right? We will write a, we will write b here, right? And we will print. Now if the strings are equal, guys, remember there is a little confusion always when it comes to str compare. When the strings are equal, it gives the value 0, right? It in most oftenly what happens is that when it's true, right, it gives 1, but when it's false, it gives 0, right? But in string comparison it is a little different. Now what if I change and add an s, so you know that the strings are not same. Now let's see what kind of output it will give. It is giving 115, right? So it is completely different. Now if I change this s and add this s in the front, now you can see it is giving the value 1 now. So every single time it will give a non-zero value. So you have to know that yes, the strings are not same. But if it gives a 0 value, so you will get to know that it is the strings are same. Basically it is completely different from the true and false. Now actually what happens in the backend is that they subtract the values, right? If suppose it is something like this, so r minus r is 0, o minus o is 0, h minus h is 0, I minus i 0, t minus t 0, right? So if everything is 0, then it will print the value 0. So this is what actually happens behind the strcmp. And another very important function is that to convert a string value to its integer. Suppose if this is the number, it's a number but it's in string, right? So if I have to add 1, so how can I add? It won't work, right? Suppose if I write cout a plus 1, now let's see what will be the output. You can see it is printing 2421. It is neglecting 1, right? It will ignore 1, just 1 byte from the front, and it will print the remaining ones. If I write 2, it will ignore the first one, it will print the remaining numbers, right? So we can't add. So there is something called as function which helps in parsing, right? Parsing is something that you will understand more briefly when you come to the chapter of compiler design. Basically the function is you can create a integer number. There are many ways. You can use a string stream, which is a little complicated, but you can use ATOI and then you can pass the value in it. There is STOI also, but sometimes the compiler ignores that, or sometimes there are no function within this. So there are basically two functions, ATOI as well as STOI. Now let's try to print A. Okay, actually A is already taken, so we'll write B to it, and we will add B plus 1, right? So if this is changed to an integer, right, so the answer should be 1242, right? Now let's check. Okay, we'll write a string here. The value is, let's try to print now. Super, you can see it is printing the value is 12422, right? So this ATOI is converting a string number into an actual integer number. So these are some of the very important. There are many functions within the string library that you can individually venture, and I am telling you that they are in placements or in personal technical rounds, they oftenly ask about arrays and strings. So you have to this is a must topic that has to be covered if you are a computer science engineer, because this will help you to manipulate data from one part to another. This actually helps, and you have to know about the predefined functions too. Well, that's all from my side, guys. If you find this video informative, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel. Well, the next video will be on the topic of arrays, which is one of the important, because it is oftenly asked. The manipulations of array in your examination, it is asked in your interviews and many more. So please stay tuned, and we'll see you in the next video.